Yo, what's up guys? So today we're back with a new video, 250 2023 OEM shootout. It's just an idea of a video I thought you might like to see. We can compare each bike to each other. I mean, it's also a fun video for me to do, and it was probably the longest video it took me to do just to like get a good lap on each bike is pretty difficult. But it was also fun in the sense that I got to like try out every bike because I haven't like Honda's the only bike I really touched in this game since getting it, so it's kind of fun to try out the other bikes. So yeah, so at P9 we have the RMZ 250. Man, as a Ken Roxon fan, I wanted this RMZ up there. I was like, no, I can't give it a bad name. He's giving it an okay name now. Show him what it can do. We can win races. It can get top 5, top 10s. But anyway, so yeah, overall this bike was very fun, man. Like up in the air, you could just throw it around. It felt light, which is weird because they're built like a tank. But you could throw it around. It was just fun. But it was on the ground physics. That's where you would feel the real weight of the bike, man. It felt very heavy on the ground. The front end wanted to tuck all the time, or else the back end wanted to kick out, and it lacked power. But on tracks like this, it was okay because it's a technical track, so it's kind of more handling over power. But maybe because the lap time was so bad as well, it's because the bike's under power. But overall, I had fun on it, but in the air. On the ground, not so much. So I lap time on this was 143.168, which was an okay lap, not good, but so that's the P9 Suzuki RMZ. P8, surprisingly, I know, relax, you're surprised, but hear me out. So yeah, man, the Cowie I thought would be at least top 5, but after doing a number of laps on it, I could simply not get one good lap in, and here's why. So I wanted to bounce around everywhere. It just didn't want to stay down the ground. Like the front end wanted to constantly come up, and the back end wanted to kick out. Front end wanted to wash out. It was just a difficult bike to ride, man. But what I liked about it was the sound, man. The sound's so good, so I was hoping it would do good. So maybe it's a bike I could continue to ride in the championships and stuff, but unfortunately not. But we might be changing manufacturers, and you'll see why at the end of this video, because there's a surprise on what bike actually was first. So that kind of tells you what bike it wasn't, but if you don't get it, I won't tell you. Won't ruin it for you. So yeah, man, I mean, overall power was good, it was fast, felt as good as a Honda, a Husky, it'd be up there. But it was just the handling, man, I just couldn't get a hold of it. The bike felt like very like unstable and very free, but too free, as in like it was just hard, like it wanted to kick out everywhere, wanted to pull away from you, and just difficult bike, man, to ride. It wasn't enjoyable at all. This was the one bike I actually didn't enjoy. But gearing wise in this, it's sort of like the Honda as well. It's heck, second and third everywhere. You might get fourth in an odd place, but second and third really for the most part of it. So there's not a lot of work to do in these bikes. But so yeah, that comes in a P8 with a 141.678. And now, surprise, in P7, the Italian Stallion. Man, this bike was actually very fun to ride, surprisingly. This was the bike I thought would be back of the list, because you just don't really see them either, do you, in the MXGP or the AMAs or anything really. Like years ago you would have, but now they're kind of a thing of the past nearly. You're going to see them at local races. But yeah, man, I've ridden one in real life too. It's actually the first 4-stroke I ever rode. It was a 250. And in real life, I know I should be talking about the game, which I will, but in real life, man, it was very similar to how it was in the game. So in the game, it's the power was very smooth. It wasn't aggressive. It was easy to keep both wheels on the ground for majority of the time. Overall handling was good. Just the suspension was a bit tricky, man. It was very stiff, but that's the default suspension. I could have lowered it, but I didn't because I wanted to keep everything the same for every bike. So maybe if I play around with it, I might like it a bit more, but this is what we came up with. Yeah, the thing I didn't like was it was in real life the same. It's if they feel very slim and you're very high up on the bike. Like I like a bike where you're kind of sunk into it a bit. and it's a bit wider. Just suits my style of play better. But yeah, man, overall, TM was actually a fun bike to ride, surprisingly. I'm full sure we got an okay lap time. We nearly got into the 30s on the TM, I believe. 140 maybe? Oh no, it was actually 141.614. And now we have the KTM. Overall, the KTM, for me, was a bike that I thought was going to definitely be in the top 3. It was looking that way at the beginning of this video. I was like, man, this is fast, it handles okay, maybe this bike can be the winner. But I don't know, man, it was a very aggressive like bike, as in coming out of corners and stuff. You have to be very, very careful with throttle on this one, because the front end wanted to come up and hit you in the face. And the braking as well, man, they're very like sharp, as in you just barely touch the brake and I want to lock up nearly. But I mean, they flow good, they feel good, but then in certain places it's difficult to control it. Like coming in here, I thought I was going to keep bouncing, even though the suspension feels soft. I thought I was going to keep bouncing. It was a weird feel off it, but it flowed good. I put a good few laps in this as well. Some bikes took a bit more laps to get in, to get one good lap in, just because of the way they were handling and stuff. But like the top 3 bikes were nearly done within less than 10 laps. So I would say around 8 laps. I was able to get a good time, just one good time, and that was that. So yeah, that's the KTM, guys. I'd recommend it, but it's just not for me. So that comes in with a 140.353. Now the Fantic, man, this was a bike that blew me away. I mean, it came in at P5, and I was like, I never rid one ever in my life, so it was completely new. The handling actually surprised me on this bike, how good it was. Like, it just handled so good, like a dream. This is one of the bikes I'm going to be practicing on, because I feel like I can go a lot faster on this after I mess around with suspension setup and everything else. But I mean, it was easy enough to hit my marks. I could carry speed. I felt like I could carry more speed. But that's where I got fooled, because I tried carrying more speed like that last corner and I nearly overshot it. The bike, it has so much power in it, and you don't kind of realize that you're actually in the corner and that you're going too quick. Like some of the other bikes just have a better sense of speed. Like I think it's the sound of the bike is more in tune with the speed. Because in this bike, it kind of doesn't sound like you're going that fast, but you're going really fast. But yeah, man, overall a fun bike. Straight off the bat from default settings, would I change anything? Yes, maybe. But I know for a fact that it's probably only going to be like 1 or 2 clicks here and there. I'd maybe make things a small bit softer, just a small bit. So yeah, that's the Fantic in P5. We got a lap time of a 140.200, and now the gas in a P4, another bike, man, surprised me, simply because I never took to the gas. As I don't know, they never kind of crossed my mind to try them, just because I never really liked the look of them. I knew I wouldn't be able to ride them that good. Well, sorry, I thought. But yeah, man, overall, the only thing that I think was a killer with this bike was the sound. It sounded horrible, and it was hard to actually judge your speed from the sound, which that's how I go from speed. I don't really go from the view as such. Well, I do, obviously, but the speed sometimes can tell me a bit more, and the sound of the bike. But handling wise, it was okay, but in the front end it was very, very light, so it would be easy to like get cross-roaded, or for the front to tuck, or for the front end to even come up. But it was a fun bike nevertheless. I'd recommend this one. It's just the sounds, man, they're like a real killer. Like the sound of this bike, It was terrible. I was hoping to get a good lap within the first lap because I was like, I don't want to listen to it for too long. Like when you're just getting on the power, it nearly sounds like a quad or even like a tractor a little bit. Well, that could be just me, but it doesn't sound the greatest. But it's a fast bike, man. I mean, once I knew it was moving, I was moving. So that's the gas in a P4. With a 139.371, so we're now in the 30s. And the Honda man, P3, I know, relax, I know, a lot of you are going to disagree, but just hear me out. So, the Honda man, it was a brilliant bike. It wasn't that it shouldn't have been P1, but it just, with the lap time I couldn't get. But, how will we put this for you? So the Honda, well, you know, because most of you will ride them, or do ride them. So, the Hondas, man, they're like the best control out there. The throttle is just spot on. Everything is spot on with the bike. But again, the back end can kick out from time to time. But it's expected, man. That'll happen you regardless of what bike you're on. But so I don't really have much to say. I actually don't think of anything bad to say about the Honda, rather than it's a good bike. Man, I have fun in it. It's the bike I ride all the time. It's the bike I ride in real life. Well, I ride two-stroke in real life, but that's just overall one of the most reliable bikes I think of all time in real life as well. Like, man, you can really get a flow going on these Hondas. I think most of the pros kind of race them too, because not because they're the fastest bike, but because the control is so good in them. Like, they're a beginner friendly bike. I'd recommend them if you were just picking up the game, man. Jump on one of these for a while. Or, well, don't do what I done. Stick with the same bike for so long and realize you can be quicker on other bikes. But yeah, so that's the Honda, guys, in a P3. With a lap time of 139.165. And the video drags on a little bit here, just because I wanted to show you my stunts, but it didn't turn out too good. So now P2. We have the YZF 250. I had a YZF as well in real life, man, and I always knew they were a very, very quick bike. And that's why it's a P2, because of the overall speed. And the handling was actually good. The only thing that, it's just trying every new bike, man, they're all going to look different, feel different, so it's just getting used to them. But, I don't know, the front fender seemed like very skinny to me, compared to, like, say, the Honda. So it was kind of harder to get the front wheel into the ruts a little bit, because like a smaller guide basically. But nevertheless, I managed to be smooth at this lap, and we got it to P2. But this was a bike, man. It's just the small little things with it. It's like the suspension is the number one thing. It's hard for the bike to handle good at times. I don't know, maybe if I mess around with the suspension a bit, but like I can tuck into corners in it. The corners are fine. Just landing from jumps, I feel, can catch you with it. Like if you over jump the slightest, I feel like it doesn't leave you off, like the other bikes kind of would. So yeah, man, overall it was a fun bike to ride. I recommend this as well. So you might see me on a blue bike. You might. It could still be a Honda. But we'll have to test these out during the week and see where we get with them. So yeah, so that's the Yamaha in the P2. Got a pretty good lap time on this too, 139.040, nearly 138. And now a P1, the Husky. Again, I rode one of these in real life, but it was a 350. The Husky, man, surprisingly, it's P1. Now, if it was my own, like, personal thing, I would have put Honda first, but because it was based off of lap times and what I could do with them in the first good lap I do, this is what we came up with. So the Husky, man, how will we start with it? So overall handling was brilliant. I went to corners, man, you can see how comfortable I was with it. It was just the bike was sticking to the ground. The only thing I didn't really like about this bike is it felt a little bit wide. Like, I know I was saying I prefer a wider bike, but this felt like a bit more wider and bulkier than what I would like. And again, you sitting like more higher up on this bike than you would have with the Honda. But nevertheless, man, I done a good lap on this bike, the best lap. Nearly tucked it there, but when I was scrubbing, okay, that was a bubba scrub. No, we nearly went down, but we moved. So yeah, but overall a good bike. I mean, the power of this, I'd say it's one of the quicker bikes. Just surprisingly how good it was handling though. Man, it actually caught me off guard to be P1. So yeah guys, so that's basically coming to the last bike now. So it was the Husky that was on top. If you enjoyed this type of video, do let me know, as in I can make some videos a bit more similar to this. So that's the Husky P1. And we got a lap time of 1:38.40. Pretty good, man. So yeah guys, if you enjoyed the content, like and subscribe. Till next time, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.